Hey everyone, so a few weeks back, me and Sarah sat down and did a video answering your questions that you asked us on Instagram about marriage, and that video was like 20 something minutes long. It's pretty long. We didn't get to every question, and a lot of you guys said that the length was okay and that you wanted a part 2, so I'm down for that. Makes my life easy. So we're gonna answer as many questions as we can, but the thing that we realized once we were going through all of these questions was that these ones were like...
kind of negative.
Yeah.
They just kind of had a theme of being like having a negative view or maybe like a fearful view of marriage.
Mm-hmm.
And so we thought we wanted to address these questions.
Yeah, because that's kind of why we make these kinds of videos, is to kind of make marriage not seem like such a fearful thing to
Not
be a
scary.
part of. It's not, it's not scary. So that's why we want to answer these ones in particular. But first, we want to say thank you so much to Helix for sponsoring this video. We absolutely love their mattresses, and we're not just saying that because we're getting paid. We really do.
We've had this mattress for longer than the 100-night trial, and we are still so happy with it. I actually will get in bed at night and just think about how comfortable it is. Like it's the first night that I slept on it. I'm not even kidding.
A lot of you have reached out and told us that you actually bought a Helix mattress after seeing them on our channel and are loving it. And seriously, that means the world to us. That really helps us out. One girl even bought their organic mattress, Birch.
Yeah.
Birch mattress, I think that's what it is.
Why did we get that one?
Well, because you're allergic to wool. But we did get their mattress topper, which is next level. It is so soft. Helix is different than other mattress companies because they've created this really amazing sleep quiz that helps them figure out exactly what mattress is best for you. They ask you questions like if you're a side sleeper, stomach sleeper, back sleeper, if you like soft or hard mattresses, things like that, and they come up with the perfect mattress. We got the Helix Sunset Luxe mattress, and it is life-changing. When you order, it ships to your door free, and it comes in this really awesome compacted plastic that's really fun to unravel.
And it's fast.
Very fast. If you're a little uneasy about buying something that you haven't actually slept on, like we said earlier, there's a 100-night trial, so you don't have to worry about it. You can ship it back if you're not 100% in love with it. Go to helixsleep.com/Jordan Taylor for up to $200 off and 2 free pillows, which are awesome as well. You can't beat free. And they are free. To be clear, when you support our sponsor Helix, you are 100% supporting us and allowing us to have conversations like these with you guys. So please head over to helixsleep.com/Jordan Taylor to get up to $200 off and those 2 free pillows. Let's get to the questions. All right, so negative questions. They weren't like, it's not like that they were like, it was more of like questions that people were very kind of fearful, it seemed like.
Yeah.
I don't want to put words in people's mouths or emotions, but that's kind of what it was coming across.
That's kind of how it came across.
Yeah.
Do you spend more days sad than happy?
That's a great question. No, I'm just kidding. No, definitely more days happy than sad.
Definitely more days happy.
Right.
And if I was sad, I don't think it has anything to do with our marriage. I don't think I've ever been sad for a day because
I see what you
we're
mean.
married.
Right.
I think it would be like an outside thing, outside of us
Right,
being married.
because it sounds like she might be asking...
Like, are we ever sad about our marriage,
being
I
married.
guess?
That's what it seems like.
But I would say overall, no matter what the angle is, I would say I'm very happy.
Yeah.
On a large majority of days.
Yes. Is marriage awkward sometimes? How do you get over that? I see where you're coming from. I think that it depends on how well you know the person before you get married. Like a lot of people I've heard say that they haven't even let their boyfriends see them without makeup on, which is just mind-blowing to me because I definitely saw you a lot without makeup on before that. But like if you're coming at it from that angle, I can see how that would maybe be awkward.
Yeah.
So maybe to like get over that would be to be a little more open before you get married.
Yeah. I honestly, before I got married, I thought that it was going to be a little bit awkward, like certain things. And then once we were married, it was like literally from the moment we got married, nothing was awkward. Literally nothing was awkward.
I think that girls sometimes think that guys care more than they think that they do.
We think
Sorry,
that guys care more than they
actually do.
Yeah.
Whereas guys are more just like kind of just going with the flow or whatever, and so it's not this huge shocking thing to see the person that they like or love without makeup on or anything like that.
Yeah. But yeah, it's really like if you do feel awkward, just don't. Just tell yourself not to,
right.
Because there's no reason to feel awkward. Good question. How hard is it to give up some of your freedom in order to commit to a relationship?
This is funny because I feel like I would have a different answer if I actually didn't live. I've always lived with somebody. I've lived with my siblings and my parents, and then just my parents, and then I went from them to straight to you. I never had a moment where I was just alone.
Same.
So I was always under a roof with somebody, and so I never, the thought of not being with somebody was actually really hard when we first got married and you had a job outside of what we do here on YouTube, and I was just really, that was a very depressing time for me.
You had too much freedom.
Yeah, I was just like, I had nobody to be with, and I was like, that freedom, I didn't like that. So.
Yeah. And I think I really, because I did like having freedom, like being able to just, I guess, do whatever I wanted, but I was more excited about what we were going to do together.
Mm-hmm.
So then I was having, freedom, whatever that is, I feel like I don't have, let's put it this way, I don't feel like our marriage is a ball and chain in any way. Like, I feel like I have more freedom being married than I ever have in my life. So,
and a lot of people will think that it's the opposite, that you will immediately feel tied down and whatnot. But I don't know. I haven't had that experience at all, and I don't know if that's just an us thing or if I really don't know. So it's kind of hard to like expound on that more, other than that's just not how I feel.
Well, and it's like we definitely had to give up, certain things, I guess. But I think overall, doing life together, I guess. I hate that phrase, but making our life together was outweighed for us what we were going to do alone, so it wasn't hard.
Right. How do you get used to living with another person you haven't grown up with? Now, I don't know if that means like living with another person like that's outside of your family, like your siblings and stuff, or if she is saying with like somebody that you didn't know as you were a child.
Probably like siblings.
Okay, got it, because I was taking it the other way.
Oh, okay. I don't think that that's really as big of a deal as people think that it is. Actually goes with the two questions I have here. So we go ahead and
yeah, sure.
We can just answer them all together. So I got a lot of questions about like, should you live together before you get married, and how would you know if the person that you're going to marry is like a good person to live with if you don't live with them first? Personally, we are of the don't live with each other before you get married crowd. We think that's a bad idea personally. But I think that the real, like, that question is just not that big of a deal. Like, it's the same as having a roommate or having a friend. Like, you're gonna have to, like, or even siblings, really anybody you're ever going to spend any significant time with, there's going to be differences and quirks and things, but we don't seem to worry about it when it's a close friend
or a close
or
friend,
a sibling or a roommate. Now with a roommate, obviously you can go your separate ways, but you also like don't love each other necessarily. You don't have a commitment.
Right. So it actually should be easier when you're married because you actually like have a much deeper connection with that person than somebody else. Yeah, it's just.
And you have a commitment to work through those things. Like that's what a marriage is. It's a commitment to that person.
So they're not gonna. Yeah. So they're not gonna leave if something something within reason here bad happens. You know what I mean? So it's just.
So the question is not like how do you get used to it or how do you know if it's going to be okay. The question is, are you committed to that person? And if you are, and you have communication, and you can say, hey, this thing you do really bothers me, and they're willing to go, oh, I didn't realize that bothered you so much. I'll try to do better, then it's no big deal.
And the question kind of, the way the question is asked kind of lends itself to being interpreted as if you don't live with them before marriage, that like your marriage is kind of like this test ride of like, do I want to still be with them? That's always, whenever people ask that, that's always kind of how I view it. And I always just think that you should know well before then, even if you're not living with them. That's not like a determining factor.
Because even if you're with the perfect person, like you're with the perfect person, they are still going to do annoying things. Like,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
There's just no way around it. So, yeah, it's just no big deal.
Yeah. How hard is living together, and is it one of the hardest adjustments to make? This kind of goes with that other question, but I think for me, it was a little harder than for you, like the adjustment. And it wasn't that we really clashed or anything. It was more of I think I didn't know how to take on more responsibilities than that were expected for me to do, like cleaning and like the dishes and just things like that I didn't.
You've definitely gotten very handy since
and right, and being handy and stuff like that. I wasn't the best at doing those things, and then when we got married, it was like, oh, I need to like be way more proactive in doing this. You also had a job when we first got married, so it was kind of up to me to be like, oh, well, she is obviously more time away from home, so I need to do more of this stuff. And it took me a minute to learn like that, who does what when and things. So that was kind of the biggest adjustment, but like in terms of, and now I'm actually really good at all that stuff. I actually kind of enjoy doing that. But yeah, I mean, in terms of like personality and stuff, like adjustments, I don't really.
I personally just don't think it was that hard. I mean, there were definitely like growing pains of just trying to find our rhythm. Mm-hmm. Like, really as homeowners, I think, as homeowners together, it wasn't really like getting mad at each other over things or anything like that. It was just a new environment. It was like a new situation.
Right.
So it was like hard, but not hard at the same time.
Right.
How can I avoid becoming my husband's mom?
Well, this is actually funny because I feel like when we first got married, it's not that I think I just expected, I don't know really what I expected. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I knew I needed to do more of like the house chores and stuff, and I wanted to. It was just that I wasn't very good at it. I think that it just has a lot to do with your husband's mentality. Like mine was more, oh, I need to learn how to do this and I need to get good at it to obviously take a weight off of you, and just I need to know I need to do this on a personal level. But I don't know if everybody is necessarily like that. I think more people are than aren't.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, you might need to have like some kind of conversation with your husband or something if it's like a big deal.
It'd be have a conversation on expectations and like say to him what you need from him and what you expect. And that would be step one. And then step two is don't sweat the small stuff. So say he does something differently than you and you don't like that he's doing it differently, just look the other way. As long as it gets done, let him do it however he gets it done, and just turn a blind eye to it. Don't like be overbearing about it.
Because I think that's one thing that can kind of get irritating is when a guy is trying to learn to do something and then the spouse is like, well, no, you're doing it wrong, or you should do it this way. It's like, all right, can I just do it? Like,
yeah,
it's fine. I appreciate learning, but like at some point it's like, we're different. I can do it a little differently. That's okay.
Like Jordan folds the towels differently than I do, but when he folds the towels, I'm not gonna complain about it.
Right, it gets done, and I do it, and so it's fine. All right, this question, it's gonna be, with a controversial answer here, so just hang on tight, get ready.
Do you think there is one specific person out there for everyone? How do I, as an introvert, find them?
All right, so, as Christians, this is always how I view it. Maybe God has a specific person out there for you that you are going to marry. But to kind of like cling to this mindset of, I'm finding that person. I have to find
pressure.
that can lead to very bad places, very dark places. I've seen
No.
it happen many, many times. You know, friends growing up and stuff, like, I will find the one. I will find them.
Or when they meet someone, they have to go, I don't know if this is the one.
That's
or,
where
I
it
don't know if this
leads.
is the one.
That's where it leads. They have this big, huge, I mean, pages and pages of checklists. Do they check that? No, 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 no. Oh, well, I guess it's not them. And it might be them. It just might be you that is kind of the problem. And I think it's difficult because it's putting a lot of pressure on the other person and not a lot of pressure on you to be the best that you can be. It's, I'm finding the person that's going to fit me the best. It's like this weird dynamic.
Or thinking that your spouse is going to be this perfect gift from God.
Right.
And that, like, if the first time you have any kind of disagreement, it's like, oh my gosh, what if this is not God's gift to me? But it could be that you're not fulfilling that either. And so it's,
Right.
it's just...
It's hard. I don't really like giving an answer one way or the other because, in my honest opinion, I don't know if there is one specific person out there for every single person. I don't know. I just don't know if that's how that goes. But I think that maybe that is with some people. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it's not with every single person. But I just, the main takeaway is that idea of not just clinging to that idea so much that it destroys you. Because it will destroy you if you hold on to that concept in this weird, like, idealistic, like, idol kind of way. It can take you down some dark paths and you can be very, very sad. But as an introvert,
just take the pressure off.
Yeah.
Meet people, make friends, because really at the end of the day, the person you marry at some point is your friend.
Right.
Before they're anything else. And so...
And they'll understand you as a friend.
Yeah, and if you go into it looking at marriage as a partnership rather than I'm trying to find this one person
Right.
in the world that's right for me, and what if I mess up, which is just way too much. That's too
Right.
heavy. Then you'll start looking at yourself and at the other person and just, you just go with it a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit. You'll be smart, but
It'll be okay.
it'll be okay.
I think we all stressed out about this too much. It's gonna be okay.
Do you have to be best friends with the person that you marry? So, I think that's always great. Do I think it has to be a requirement? No, because I think at the end of the day, like, your marriage is going to be as successful as you make it. And, like, there are literally strangers sometimes get married with arranged marriages and things like that. And sometimes it turns out to be a great marriage. So do they have to be your best friend? No. But should you work on them being your best friend? Absolutely.
And I know some friends whose parents seem like they're really, really great friends and everything seems great. And I have some friends whose parents don't seem like they're the best friends, and it's worked out great. It's just they've kind of realized that they're different, and they've found a way to make it work still without constantly trying to make this person something
Like,
so.
But I feel like, you can be best friends and be very different. But
Yeah, I'm not saying that. But yeah.
yeah,
That's what
so
I mean.
it's like,
You can, yeah.
yeah and no. At the end of the day, again, marriage is a partnership, and it's just going to be as successful as you make it. Have you ever felt like you don't have feelings for each other anymore? And do you ever get tired of each other? And there's also a third question that kind of goes with that too.
Yeah.
And it's, do you ever second guess or have doubts? If so, how long did it take for that to go away? So, I personally never get tired of Jordan.
We live with each other. Obviously live with each other, but we're with each other basically 24/7. We haven't gotten tired of each other yet.
All the time, and I do like alone time. If he ever has to leave for a while, it's not, that's fine. But am I ever wishing he wasn't here, or do I get tired of him? And really, no.
Right.
I don't feel
It's
like
kind
I
of
have
uncomfortable thinking
any
about that.
less feelings than I ever have. Feel.
Last question. Should the annoying person change their behavior, or should the annoyed one get over it? It's definitely a mixture of both. But from my experience, the annoyed person should get over it more than the annoying person should change. And I only say that because if you're talking about an annoyance, like oftentimes that comes from the person who is being annoyed, that they have an issue. All right.
Yeah.
And so if you think about that more than the person being annoying, then you'll realize that your relationship is actually changing before your eyes and nothing is happening other than in your internal thoughts.
And I think you should like really heavily pick your battles. So if you are pointing out a new thing that annoys you all the time, that is 100% your problem and you need to get over it.
I do that sometimes with us. Sometimes I think, why is this annoying me and it's like, what is my problem?
I'm very rarely annoyed. So
Yeah.
like, maybe
I'm more of a
kind
kind of person. Well, no, I'm more of a kind of person who gets annoyed at stuff. That's just my nature. I mean, that's just how it is.
Yeah.
So that's definitely something. And it's not even just with us. It's with other stuff too. And so that's definitely something I know that I need to work on. So kind of coming at it from like a personal perspective, definitely the annoyed person needs to change more than if you're constantly blaming other people for your feelings or you getting annoyed with stuff like that, it's not saying that you shouldn't blame others for how you feel all the time, because clearly that can be a real thing. But like if we're talking about annoyance, like,
and if there's just like one thing where you're like, I can look over this and this and this, but this thing, like he, she, whoever you're annoyed at, leaves their towel in the middle of the bathroom floor, and that drives you wild. You cannot stand it. Have a conversation about that one thing calmly, and just say, this, I just really can't handle this. Like this is one thing.
Right.
Can you please try to change this one behavior?
And say it in a nice way. That it's not like,
way.
I hate you for this and I've been thinking about this for months now.
Communication. I think that's fine. But it's just like when it's like all the time, that is you.
Right. It's meaningless at that point.
Right.
It's meaningless. Everything you say is meaningless.
So pick your battles.
Yeah.
And try not to be annoyed. I'm like never annoyed at you. I can't think of one thing that you do.
You're not an annoyed person. Well, Sarah, great conversation. I feel like that was pretty good.
Yeah.
Did you think so? All right, good.
Yeah.
Well, guys,
so, marriage is not scary. It's not. It's really not. Just keep a good head on your shoulders.
Don't be scared of it. Okay, it's really not that bad. It's gonna be all right. That's always a thing I have to tell people. It's gonna be okay.
Marriage is the best.
It really is great. Yeah. Guys, and you know what else is great? Sleeping with your partner in your Helix mattress. So definitely go check that out. HelixSleep.com/Jordan Taylor. Up to $200 off, okay? 2 free pillows. HelixSleep.com/Jordan Taylor. Check it out. All right, guys. We'll talk to you later. What? It's great to like sleep in the same bed.
Yeah, it is.
Bye.